any questions you have about the rules or about how to play if you get your voice chat working, or just by typing into the Discord chat. Okay, so this is Circulari, a game of tactics and resource management for 1 to 4 players, set in the accretion disk of a black hole. And you, the players, are the titular Circulari, that is to say, deep space miners operating in the asteroids orbiting this black hole. And the objective of the game is to be the best Circulari, the most talented Circulari, and you will... Oh. That's odd. Oh no, it still seems to be working. Okay, yeah, I can see the red hand moving around there on the screen. The objective of the game is to be the best Circulari, the most talented Circulari, and you will be rated on your performance using the score track at the top of your fleet board. So you can see, where are we? Here we go. So red player, here's the red player's fleet board. So this is the score track, so you can move your counter along, accumulating talent points until one player reaches 7 talent points, which triggers the end of the game. And there's a final round with extra turns for everyone else who didn't trigger the end of the game. And then at the end of that, the player with the most talent points, the most talented Circulari, is the winner. And there are various different ways to earn talent points, but most of them have to do with mining space asteroids. And I'll explain what they are in a moment. But until then, let's get on with the rest of the rules. So we take it in turns. So it's a 2-player game. Yep. So take it in turns. And on each player's turn, the turn is composed of 2 distinct phases. And the first phase is called the action phase. And you'll see on your player boards, I will rotate the Twitch view for anyone looking on Twitch to have a look. There is a quick reference area on the left-hand side of the player board, which shows you the different actions that you can perform. And there are 4 different actions, and I'll just run through them now from the perspective of the red player. Or maybe I'll scroll and do them from the perspective of the blue player, since I am technically the blue player. So yes, so the first action is called the deploy robot action. So when you deploy a robot, you take one of the 3 robots from the storage area of your fleet board, the 0 resources space here, and you drag it over there to the... Oh, didn't quite hit the right space there. You drag it over there to the space station and increase the size of your robotic mining fleet. So at the beginning of the game, everyone starts off with 4 robots. There we go. 4 robots. And by playing the deploy robot action, I have just increased the size of my fleet to 5. So the second action is the move robots action. And this is the most commonly played action in the game, because it is how you manipulate your fleet. So when you play the move robots action, you have to think about how many movement modules you have. And at the beginning of the game, everyone has 4 movement modules. And what that basically means is you can move your robots up to 4 times. So let's scroll over there. I'm going to pick up a blue cube off the space station. So I could spend those movement modules like so. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I could go 1, 2, 3, 4 anti-clockwise. Or I could go 1, 2. I could move some more 3, and then maybe that 1, 4. And then I've run out, so I can't move my last cube. You can basically freely spend these movement modules to move your cubes, move your robots around the belt. 1 movement module every time you hop between an asteroid or between the asteroid and the space station. And also 1 movement module if you want to change which section you are located in on an asteroid. You will note that there are 3 different sections. They perform different functions, which I will explain in a moment. Yes, so that is the move robots action. Then the next action is the upgrade action, and this action is different to the others because it costs some resources. So it costs 1 metal and 2 energy, so you need to have some resources on your stockpile area of your fleet board. At the beginning of the game, I don't have any metal, so I wouldn't be able to take that action straight away. But when you do have sufficient resources and you take that action, you can then upgrade the number of movement modules that you have, or the number of command channels. I will explain what command channels are in a moment. The movement modules should be fairly explanatory at this point. You upgrade once to get 5 movement modules, upgrade twice to get 6. And there is a bonus, one of the 4 ways of earning talent points in the game, a talent point for doing the 2 upgrades, maxing out your ability in either of those upgrade tracks. So if I did upgrade my movement modules to 6, I would gain a talent point for doing so. And yes, that's the upgrade. When you upgrade your movement modules, then you do immediately, as part of that action, or also get to move your robots with your new movement module level. So if I upgraded to 5, I would also get to move my robots with 5 modules worth of movement. And command channels, as I said, I'll get to that in a second. So the 4th and final action is the export actions. This also costs resources. It costs 3 metal and 2 energy. And when you spend those resources, when you send them back to your home civilization where you Circulari hail from, you'll be rewarded with 2 talent points for having done so. So this is another of the ways you can score talent points in the game. The second way, also relatively important one, because you get to score 2 at once. So those are the 4 different actions. On your turn, you can play any one of those actions, and optionally, you may take a second action. If you have the resources, you may spend 2 energy like so in order to take a second action. That could be the same action again. You could do the same thing twice, or you could take a different action. So that is the actions. And once you've finished your actions, once you've taken your 1 or your 2 actions, you then move on to the command phase, which is slightly different. So in the command phase, you now have to think about how many command channels you have. So at the beginning of the game, everyone has 1 command channel, and what that means is that you may move at most 1 asteroid, because the command phase is dedicated to manipulating the asteroids themselves. But with 1 command channel, you can only manipulate 1 of them. In order to move an asteroid, you need to have some robots on the central section of the asteroid board. These are the thruster robots. I will illustrate that. So let's say you put 3 thruster robots on this asteroid, then you would be able to move that asteroid, let's see, up to 3 spaces anti-clockwise. So to do that, it looks like this. Right, so this is the thing you have to do with Tabletopia. You have to move the cards just like it's a real, just like you're dealing with real pieces of cardboard, although I honestly have to say it's slightly trickier than dealing with real pieces of cardboard. So if I wanted to move my asteroid 1 space, then I just move them like that. So it's effectively a swapping action, but I could move them up to 3. So, like so. Move the asteroids. So I can move all the way 3 spaces anti-clockwise round to here. There we go. And you just have to, oops, don't want to pick up those cubes. And you just have to keep track of which way around your asteroid is. So that's the first thing you can do, is to, as indicated on the quick reference area, over here on the fleet board, you can shift your asteroids. You can spend your thrusters to shift them and move them clockwise or anti-clockwise, as many spaces as you have thrusters. The only thing you can't do is you can't move past the space station. So if we'd moved in the opposite direction, we'd only been able to move 2 spaces because the space station is in the way. You can't move past the space station, but there is something special that happens when you get next to it. So let's go and deal with that. Let's just flip this one around so I can demonstrate what kind of special things happen when you get next to the space station. So let's say that we got some cubes on this asteroid here. I'm just going to set this up. There we go, right. So this has got 2 thrusters, and it's got 1 cube on the metal extraction spaces, and you also note it is a metal ore asteroid because the label facing the black hole board is the metal ore label. And because asteroids come in 2 kinds, we flip them around. They're either waste rock or metal ore. So this one's metal ore, so it's full of metal waiting to be mined, and we're now going to do that. Okay, so we can use our first thruster to shift it into position. So we'll just do the shifting action again, drag that away, move the other asteroid around, and then we finish the shift, dropping it into place, and now you can see that the labels line up. The metal ore label on the asteroid matches the metal ore label on the black hole. So this, we can now use our second thruster. So we use the first one to move it into place, the second one to actually do the mining. So when that happens, the blue player, which is me, will gain 1 metal for having performed the extract action. And also 1 metal to each player who has a cube on any of the metal extraction spaces. So let's say that my opponent also had a cube on the metal extraction spaces. Then I would gain 2 metal, 1 for doing it, 1 for my cube, and the red player there, Melroth, would gain 1 metal as well. So I would end up with 2, yeah, and then Melroth would end up with, yeah, oh yeah, there you go, exactly. Yes, and then finally we pick up our asteroid and we flip it around. So the best way to do this is the Q and E keys on your keyboard. They make 60-degree rotations, which is not perfect, but it will snap back into place in the correct orientation. So this is now waste rock because I have mined it out, and it is now having come clockwise to be mined as metal ore. It's now waste rock. We now wants to go anti-clockwise to come around and be deorbited over here. So let's just show you the deorbiting. So just what we just did was, again, quick reference area, the extract action, or the extract command, sorry, was what we just performed. That's the middle box in the quick reference area. 1 metal for the player who does it, 1 metal per cube. Now we're going to do the deorbit action, a deorbit command. Oh dear, keep on saying the wrong word. Yes, so now imagine that we had some cubes on this asteroid. We'll put some cubes in various different places. Right, then this asteroid here, asteroid number 1, has 2 thrusters, so we could shift it 1 space anti-clockwise, like so, and then yes, exactly. Yep, that's perfect. Well done, thank you. And then you move the other one in, and yes, it's now in position, having used our first cube to do the thrusting. We can now use the second cube to do the actual deorbit action itself. So when that happens, 2 things happen. Firstly, you get a reward of 1 talent point for deorbiting the asteroid, helping keep the disk clear of hazardous waste rock. So I will score that point since I'm doing it. And then, as the asteroid falls in, it generates some energy. And that energy can be picked up by anyone who has cubes on the metal collection, energy collection spaces on any of the asteroids, anywhere in the disk. So in this particular case, blue player has 1 cube on that energy collector, and red player 1 cube on that energy collector. So we would each gain 1 energy, which I will illustrate as so. And of course, the red player could do, has already done likewise, gained 1 energy. Perfect. And then finally, of course, as our asteroid is falling into the black hole, all the little robots, they fly off to safety. They fly off to safety. And back onto the space station, and then we take our asteroid away and we bring in a fresh metal ore asteroid there, like so. It snaps into place, and then that old one, it snaps into place over there. So you can see that metal ore is generally moving clockwise, where it gets mined, extracted to produce metal, and it becomes waste rock, where it moves anti-clockwise, and it gets deorbited to produce talent points and energy for everyone who has energy collectors, and then it gets replaced by a fresh metal ore asteroid from the higher orbits of the disk. So there's this sort of economy of asteroids going on there, and the number of asteroids of each different kind kind of varies depending on the demand for them during the game. And that is the command phase. So as I said, yes, 1 command channel, you can only move 1 asteroid. If you had cubes on more than 1, let's imagine blue player has cubes there and there. If you had thruster robots on more than 1 asteroid, then you would only be able to move one of these asteroids because you only have one command channel. But if you had upgraded to 2 command channels, then you could first move one and then move the other. So that is the benefit of upgrading your command channels. It allows you that greater flexibility during the command phase, but it doesn't allow you to move the same asteroid twice. It has to be noted. So if you've got robots, thruster robots, on more than one asteroid. So that is the core of the rules. One more thing to say about how the game ends, but taking in turns, action phase. Once the action phase is finished, command phase, and then once the command phase is finished, next turn. So for this demo, because it's a demo, we're going to start at 4, score of 4 performance points. Ready? So what we're aiming to do is to have the most performance points. End of the game begins when one player hits 7 or more performance points, and when that happens, then the other players get 1 additional turn. So if I had just scored 9 there, then the red player would get 1 more turn to also maybe score some more points or do something. And then as it came round to be just before the start of my turn, then the game would then end. And then there are some talent points awarded also for the number of resources that you have left at the end of the game. So we add up the total of our metal and energy. There we go. I've got 5 at the moment. So basically, if you have no resources, no metal and no energy left at the end of the game, you will score 1 talent point for being so efficient. If you have between 1 and 5 talent points, you will score no extra talent points for being inefficient. But if you had scored, let's see, what's that? 6 between 6 and 11 talent points, you would score 6 and 11, sorry, total units of resources. You would score 1 talent point for having an having a surplus, and if you score 12 or more, then you would score 2 talent points for having an abundant surplus. So that's the additional scoring, and once we've done that, then the player with the most talent points is the winner. So I'll just reset everything. So back to 4. You can start the game with 2 energy and no metal, so there should be 4 cubes in the 0 resources space. Don't start with any upgrades, and we just need to put the start of the disc back to how it was at the beginning. And the pieces are numbered to indicate their correct starting positions. I will just reset that now. Okay, so position 1, position 2. Yeah, I'll say again, the Q and E keys are really the key to operating Tabletopia, because they let you, more or less rotate the asteroids into the correct orientations. It's not as flexible, Tabletopia, as Tabletop Simulator, but it does okay. Right. That is everything reset. So we are now ready to start, unless Melroth has any questions. You can type your questions into the chat if you've got any questions, if you don't have a microphone or you don't want to speak on the Twitch feed, which I perfectly understand. Well, otherwise, we'll get started. And I propose that I'll take the first time. So let's see, I am blue, so I'll just check. Oh, yeah, we are all, hold on, that needs resetting as well. I'll reset the red player's fleet board as well. So yes, I am the blue player, and I will take my first turn. I am going to move robots. I am going to, what is it I want to do? Yes, I'm going to move robots. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And I'm not going to take a second action, so that's the end of my action phase. I'm now going to take my command phase. So I want to move this waste rock anti-clockwise 3 spaces, because I've got 3 thrusters on it. So the mechanics work basically just like this. I'm going to drag it away and pick up the one next to it. And I'm just going to press E to rotate it a little bit, and then this one, I'm going to press E to rotate it, and then this one, I'm going to press E to rotate it again, and then I pick up the one that I started moving. Now it's moved 3 spaces over, and press Q, 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 yeah, to get it roughly in the correct orientation, and I drop it into place. There we go, and I've shifted 3 spaces counterclockwise, and that concludes my turn, that concludes my command phase. So it is now the red player's turn. I'll just type that into that. Oh, I've just got a message from, saying that I'm offline in the game and my actions aren't registering anymore. Oh dear. So we'll want to fix that. Oh dear. There we go. So it's now loading. Got a fresh, clean board. Oh. It just says Melroth went offline. Oh no, Melroth is back. Okay. Right. Fingers crossed. Right, so I will take the turn that I originally took, and hopefully there will be no more technical glitches for the duration of this Tabletopia game. Right, so I'm the blue player. The move that I took before was I moved my robots 1, 2, 3, like so, onto this asteroid, and then I moved this asteroid 3 spaces anti-clockwise, like so. Oops, it is. And then, oops, then bringing myself round to here. So that concludes my turn. This is now Melroth's turn. Hopefully Melroth can move without having any difficulties. Oh yes, I need to Right. So what I suggest you do is you just pick it up, and if you just drag it away once you've. Oh, okay. Sorry, you didn't mean to do that. Yeah, perfect. Yes, excellent. So right, so that concludes the Melroth's turn. What I was just about to say was, of course, we're playing the demo game, so we should all start on 4 performance points there. Yeah, there we go. Right, so it's my turn again. What am I going to do? So you can see what's happened is Melroth's done the same thing as me, and of course this has created a bit of competition, and Melroth has pushed me back by 1 space, so we're in a sort of a neck-and-neck racing type situation. Got to think about what the best thing to do here is, and I think the best thing is not to fight this particular war, because I see a different opportunity. So I'm going to move my robots again. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. They go onto this metal ore asteroid, which has been brought round now by the actions of our advancing anti-clockwise. It's brought this round clockwise, so it's going to jump on and seize that opportunity. So that's my action phase. For my command phase, I'm now going to move this 1 counterclockwise, like so. Put that one back where it came from, well, where it should go. And then now I can use my second thruster on this metal ore asteroid in order to mine the asteroid. And I will gain 3 metal for doing that, because 1 for doing it, and also I have 2 metal extraction cubes, so I will gain 3 metal like so. So I'm going to pick up a cube and drop it onto the 3 metal space on my fleet board, and then all that remains is to rotate my asteroid back round into the waste rock orientation, because it's now no metal left. I've mined it all. And that concludes my turn, so it's the red player's turn again. Yeah, so move robots, yeah. Yeah, so So Melroth moved one robot there, and then now is shifted their asteroid twice into the waste rock position, but not yet deorbited it, because they've only got 2 cubes on the thruster spaces. So, but next turn they'll be able to do that. Unless, of course, someone were to jump in and do it. I won't be that cruel. But of course, being so close and leaving a space open, of course, someone else could jump in and steal that talent point. I'll leave that opportunity for a different one. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to move robots. 1, 2, whoops, 2. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know you could do that. Why is it tipping up? I've never seen it do that before. Okay, so yeah, so I moved robots there. So I moved, this is now waste rock. So there's no point really in keeping the cubes on the metal extraction spaces. So I moved them out of the way to increase my thrusting and my energy collecting capabilities. And I'm now going to move this around 3 spaces counterclockwise. So press E to rotate, press E to rotate, press E to rotate. Yep. And then Q, because I'm going the other way. There we go, and I move my waste rock round there. So, yes, that is my turn. It's now the red player's turn again. Yes. So what Melroth has done is to, yeah, perfect, brilliant. Got the hang of this. Was to gain 2 energy for doing that, because they had 2 energy collectors out there. I will also gain 1 energy. There we go. I'm going to gain 1 energy because I have an energy collector on this asteroid. And of course, Melroth will also gain 1 talent point because there's 1 talent point in deorbiting. So, oh well, that. Melroth want to do that, to pick up that cube there. There you go, and move it onto the 5 position because you've scored 1 point for being talented, taking you 1 step closer to victory. Triumph as the best Circulari. Okay, so that is now my turn. Okay, so I've got 3 thrusters, so I could carry on going round. That maybe is the best option. Okay, but I don't need to move my robots. Unless I wanted more collectors, but I'm probably alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the deploy robots action. So I'm going to take one of the free unused storage robots off my fleet board and add it to the space station. So that's my action phase. And then that concludes my action phase. So then for my command phase, I'm going to shift this guy round 2 spaces anti-clockwise. So press E, yep, to do the rotation, and E to do the rotation, and then this one, Q. There you go. So that's 2 thrusters, 2 shifts, 2 thrusters worth of movement to get into the waste rock position. And now I can do exactly what Melroth did on their turn, which is to deorbit this asteroid. It's going to go into the black hole. So I get a talent point, taking me to 5 as well. We're neck and neck. Also, because I've got 1 energy collector, I'm going to gain 1 more energy, taking me to 4 energy. Melroth would get energy if they had any energy collectors, but they currently don't. So then all that remains is to evacuate my robots, from the asteroid board onto the space station before my asteroid falls into the black hole, and then we'll just dump it over here, and we'll bring on a fresh asteroid from higher orbits, a new fresh piece of metal ore. So you can see what's happened. We've deorbited 2 waste rock now, so there's now more metal ore in play than there is waste rock. And it's Melroth's turn again, red player. So Melroth is taking the second action, first deploying robots and then spending 2 energy to play move robots. So we can see now moving some of those robots into position. So that's 1, 2 movement modules, and 3, 4 movement modules. So can't move any more movement modules than that because it costs 1, 2 to get to that asteroid there, and you only have 4 at the beginning of the game. So moving these 2 here and here already uses your entire movement budget because it costs 2 to get over there. So this one would require a 5th movement module. So if you want to reconsider, any of your movements, you may now do so. Let's see how we're doing on. Yes. So having completed the action phase, we're now doing the command phase. I would guess moving. I'm moving just. Okay, yep, 2 spaces. Right. Well, if that concludes Red Player's turn, then it's now my turn. Right, so I guess I've got to move robots because I don't have any blue cubes on the board. How am I doing for resources? I have some resources, but I could maybe do with more resources. We've got a lot of metal ore in play, so maybe do some mining. Let's see. Yes, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Right, so I'm going to move robots 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then I'm going to spend 2. I'm going to spend. Oh, where's my blue board? Here it is. I'm going to spend 2 energy because I've got 4 energy, so I'm going to spend 2 of those energy to move robots again with my second action. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. There. So I've now moved 8 movement modules worth by playing the move robots action twice. So that concludes my action phase. Can't take more than 2 actions. So now remains simply to execute the command phase, like so. So I'm shifted into position and now to extract. So I'm going to gain 3 metal from this, 1 for doing it, and 1 for each of my 2 metal extraction cubes. So I'll just rotate this round now into the waste rock position and add the resources to my fleet board. How much did I say? 3. 1. Again, this is how you record more than 4. Just employ an additional cube. So I now have 6 metal and 2 energy. And it's now the red player's turn again. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So red player has shifted 3 times anti-clockwise, not yet able to extract metal because that requires 1 further thruster, but ready to do so at the beginning of the next turn. So it's now my turn again. Well, I see, I feel there's an opportunity there. I'm going to move robots. I'm going to just parasitize that space there, so I'll get 1 metal as well when it gets extracted. Assuming it does get extracted, of course, red player might change their mind rather than help me out. But that is the nature of the game. And for my second movement module, I'm just going to move that 1 there to increase my number of thrusters. Oh, and I've got a spare 1 in the space station, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll bring that there onto the energy collection space. And for my command phase, I can now move this anti-clockwise round. Let's do that now. So press E, whoops, E to do the rotation. E, 1, 2, E, 3, and then this one, Q, 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 like so. There we go. And that concludes my turn, so it's red player's turn again. so move robots there. Red players obviously realise that they don't need a full set of thrusters, since the only thing they can do is to extract, which just takes 1 thruster, so they've filled out the remaining metal extraction slot. And have gained the resources. I wasn't paying attention on the fleet board there, but I think you should have gained 3 metal, because there are 1 for doing it and then 1 for each of your cubes, whereas I will just gain passively 1 metal. Right, and then of course the final step is to, I'll just pick it up, is to rotate into the waste rock position to show that all the metal is gone. Okay, so that concludes the red player's turn. So it's now my turn. What am I going to do? I am going to... So obviously I can extract there. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend some resources. I'm going to upgrade. I will upgrade from 4 to 5 movement modules at a cost of 2 energy and 1 metal. And as part of the upgrade, when you upgrade movement modules, you get to move your robots. So I will now also move my robots. But now I've got 5 movement modules. So I'm going to move this one to here. I'm going to increase my number of collectors. And I need 2 thrusters, so that one can go there. So let's see, 1, 2, and 3. So I've only used 3 movement modules, but that's okay. Right, so that concludes my action phase. So now I'm going to do the command phase. Right, so I'll drag that one away, because I'm going to shift once. So press E to rotate that there, and then Q to rotate that one there. Excellent. So it's now in place, ready to be deorbited. Firstly, talent points. I score 1 talent point for doing that, taking me to 6. And also energy collection, so I will gain 3 energy, because I've got 1, 2, 3 cubes on energy collection spaces. So 1, 2, 3. And the red player doesn't currently have any cubes on energy collection spaces, so they don't get any energy. But if they had cubes on any of these energy collection spaces anywhere in the orbit, they would get energy. Excuse me. So cubes fly off, robots fly off back to the space station, back to safety before this thing falls into the black hole. And we bring in a fresh metal asteroid from our high orbits and put this one away. Notionally put the piece away for later. So that concludes my turn. So it's now red player's turn again. Okay, red player is doing the same thing as me, and also upgrading to 5 movement modules. So they're doing their command phase now. I guess they decided not to move any robots. Okay, so that concludes the red player's turn. They've taken their upgrade action and done the command phase. So, let's see. I am going to... So what have I got? I've got what's that beeping noise? Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got 6 energy and 6 metal and 3 energy. So I am kind of on the cusp of winning, because I could export, which would take me to 8 points. I'm going to see if I can score some more energy. Can I score some more energy? Yes, maybe. I could do move robots. 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 3. Oh yeah, and then wait for it. 4, 5. There we go. And then for my command phase, I can move this one around. So so Melroth asks, I upgraded so I couldn't move. So when you perform the upgrade action, when you upgrade your number of movement modules, then you can also move your robots as part of the upgrade action. Obviously, I can't say for certain. I may have missed that out of my rules explanation. If so, I apologise. But if you want to also move your robots now before I finish taking my turn, then please feel free to do so. Yep. Yeah, and Melroth said, oh, they forgot that. Right, where was I? I was moving. That's what I was doing. I was moving. So I started here. I think I started here. And I'm moving 3 spaces clockwise, anti-clockwise. Like so. 1, 2. No, you tell you what, that's not right. Because I definitely started there, so I think this is 3 spaces. This is 3 spaces. Don't want to make any mistakes. Whoops. There we go. Right, so that's my turn. I have moved 3 spaces from my... I started there. 1, 2... No, 1 more space. Sorry. I'm distracted. Lose your train of thought. There we go. So that ends my command phase. So it's now the red player's turn again. Deploying a new robot for action. And continuing a move round the disc in the anti-clockwise direction towards the deorbiting slot. Right, so it must be my turn again then. Right. What am I going to do? Okay, so let's see. I've got 3, so I could deorbit this turn. That would yield me 2 energy. I think, of course, looks like Melroth's also going in that direction. I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna deploy a robot for my action, and then for my command phase, I'm just gonna move twice. I'm gonna move to the edge. I'm not actually going to go in yet. I'm scheming. I'm plotting. We'll see if it comes off. So that's the end of my turn. It's now red player's turn again. Excellent. So you're going to see you've scored 1 energy. I'm going to score 2 energy for the deorbit. There we go. 4, 5. Yep, perfect. Great. And also, don't forget, you score 1 talent point for deorbiting an asteroid. I'm taking you to 6. So we're neck and neck again at 6 points. Although, I'm going to see if I can score some more points soon. Actually, yes, because I'm going to score when I deorbit this, I'm going to get to 7, which will trigger the end of the game. So I need to be thinking about what I'm going to do. Okay, right, so I currently have 5 energy and 6 metal. So I was going for a double export like I did in the last game, but I'm not going to be able to pull that off because I need to do something slightly different. I can't afford a double export, but I can afford a single export. So I'm going to play the export action, and when I play the export action, I spend 1, 2, 3, move that cube, 3 metal, and 1, 2 energy. There we go. I think I did that right. Yes, which will give me 2 talent points, taking me to 8, which is not enough. But I do not have. I have enough now to win, probably, at least to end the game. But I don't have enough to take a second action because I've only got 2 energy. I would need to have 4 energy to export again, even though I've got enough metal for it. So I'm going to be left over with some resources there. And then so that ends my action phase, and I'm going to then play the shift command. Let's shift that around. Move my waste rock into position and deorbit this one. Did that again. Tipped over the cubes. Yes, for which I will score another talent point, taking me to 9, and also energy gets produced, so I gain 2 energy. Now I have enough energy, but it's too late for me to spend it on that, at least, anyway. And red player does not have any energy collectors, so they don't get any energy. So then my cubes come off. And although it doesn't really matter, technically the cube's stuck to the... This happens with Tabletopia. Sometimes things stick to each other when it really doesn't look like they ought to. But not too big of a problem. Okay, technically speaking, a new asteroid would... Actually, no, it is important because Melroth still gets 1 more turn. So who knows what they will do in their final turn. That might be important. So yes, new metal or asteroid, and yes, that concludes my turn. So now red player gets 1 more turn before the end of the game, and then we add the additional points for leftover resources, and then tally up to see who has the most. Right, well, I was momentarily distracted there, but I believe that Melroth has finished their turn. I saw them move their cards. So, it is now time to add any additional points. So, you get these for the number of leftover resources. Let's do red player first. So, red player has 4 units of resources, add together 3 metal and 1 energy. So, they don't, unfortunately, you don't score 1 talent point per unit of resources. So what you get is you get 1 for having no resources, for being super efficient, and then you get 1 or 2 if you have 6 or more. So in this case, you won't score any additional talent points. I will have got 3 plus 4 takes me to 7. So for having 6 to 11, I score 1 additional talent point. So that leads me on 10. Sorry, not 11. And the red player on 6. So that concludes the game, and I have won. But obviously I've played Circulari many times. Melroth, red player there, has done a great job on their first game, and thank you so much for taking the time to play a demo. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions for me, feel free to type them in our chat, and I will reply to them. But I hope you enjoyed the demo, and hope you enjoy the rest of the UK Games Expo. virtual UK Games Expo. It's a bit different this year, but next year, hopefully things will be back to normal. Oh, I've got a message. Ah, yes, Melroth says, yes, they did. Thank you. So, thank you, Melroth, for playing. Great. Well, yes, as I was saying, next year, hopefully, things will be back to normal with the UK Games Expo, and we are planning to be there in person on an actual physical stand. So if you come along to the UK Games Expo next year, you should be able to see Circulari in the flesh, in physical components. You see, I've got actual, wait for it, physical components here. These are the real deal. Dual layer boards with spaces in them to put your cubes in, so you can pick up your pieces and you move them around, and the cubes stay in place. It's all very nice. And we'll be there, so you can see Circulari in the flesh, and also we'll be hoping to go to Kickstarter around that time in May next year. So actually, you'll be able to get your hands on a copy of Circulari yourself if it's a game that you'd like to play. Right, I'm going to take a short break now because I need the loo, to be honest. But I'll be back shortly to see if anyone else wants to play more Circulari. So if you're watching and you want to play Circulari, just hold your horses, and I will be back soon for more demos. And if there isn't anyone around, then I will just play by myself. Yeah, you'll get the chance to see me versus me. Right, short break. We'll return shortly.